10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Whack Attack. Today is April 28th, and we're going to get started again with some more stats. So I think you all know by now that I absolutely love stats, and I love everything about stats, and deposit pool stats are my favorite stats right now. So let's have a look. Here we have the screenshot from the events channel, and it says 2000 ETH deposited into the deposit pool, which was really nice. And then it says 65 mini pools have been matched and have left the queue, which is beautiful to see. And then we've got this other post a little while later from events as well, saying 4058 ETH has been deposited into the pool, which of course is really beautiful and lovely to see. And that led to 90 mini pools being matched and leaving the queue. So there's some really nice big deposits coming through, and like a stream of them, right? Like, and some of these people still have a lot more ETH left in their wallets as well if they want to convert more of it. As you can see, these last few days, the amounts of ETH that's been coming into the deposit pools has just been phenomenal. There's been basically around 20,000 ETH, more than 20,000 ETH in just the last 4 days, just from seeing what's here on the screen. We're going to dig into this a little bit more, but that is by far, the highest numbers of all time. And one of the things that has led to is that we now have over 16,000 mini pools, 16,000 validators actively staking on Ethereum. There is a whole load more that are pending and in the queue. So these numbers are going to be like climbing really fast. The chart for Rocket Pool mini pools is just absolutely beautiful right now. Actually, let me just find this one thing. Oh, I don't have it. I'm sorry. Yeah, that chart's really beautiful. I'll show you that in a second. So let's have a look at the actual Rocket Scan website, and we can see what's going on over here. So let me just refresh it. So as you can see, the deposit pool was full for a couple of days after the pre-Atlas contract was changed. The limit was changed, and since Atlas has basically been zero the whole time. This is what I wanted to show you over here, like this cumulative deposit page. Let me actually just zoom in on here so we can get a little bit of a better look at it. This chart right here is glorious. Like, I don't think we've ever seen gains like this. Like, basically since April 3rd, we have increased by over 100,000. No, sorry. I'm sorry, over 50,000 ETH has come in since then, like over that 60,000 ETH basically, which is amazing. So this, we've had a couple of periods of nice growth here in the past, where around March of 2022, we went from 70,000 ETH all the way up to 90,000 ETH, and we thought that was amazing. And then here around Shanghai, around the merge, we had 132,000 ETH, went up to 165,000, which was really great. But now with Shanghai and Capella, it's literally gone up double the amount. That the rate of change is getting faster, and the amount of change is getting bigger as well. The wonderful thing is that this is not slowing down. If anything, it's speeding up. And that is very exciting to see. So you can see, there's every little while there's 100 ETH, another 100 ETH, 150 ETH, 240 ETH, another 99 ETH. These deposits are just pouring in, and that's just in the space of the last couple of hours, right? In the last 3 hours, we're getting thousands of ETH, and now you're seeing that. Let's have a look over here. So on the monthly, in April so far, we've had 60,000 ETH deposited into the deposit pool, which is the biggest by double compared to March of 2022 and September of 2022, when we had about 30,000 ETH in both of those months. And not only that, but we've had a very respectable number of deposits as well. that is showing really nicely. On the weekly measure, we can see that this week pretty much has beaten the best previous month. So March and March and September of 2022, we had about 30,000. No, sorry, yeah. We had about 30,000 ETH in both of those. Well, just this week that we're currently in has had 27,000. So another couple of good days, and we can be pushing that all the way up, like above 30,000. And if you have a look at those daily, I just showed the screenshot. In this week we've had 8,000, 5,000, 5,000, 6,000, and those deposits are just pouring in. And today, like, we've still got a whole 9 hours left for today before the day changes on UTC time. So these deposits are just coming in like really, really nicely. So I think the really great thing about this is that the queue is moving really well. Jasper made this point yesterday, right? He says even if we have 2,500 mini pools waiting in the queue, but if we're clearing 500 mini pools every day, or X mini pools every day, like, that is actually really good rate of moving. And the reason for that is because that we're kind of like in a kind of Goldilocks zone that he's talked about, where the pool is like, it's not stagnant, right? That's what we don't want. We don't want the queue to become stagnant like it did last summer, where people were waiting for months, many weeks basically to get through the queue, because no one was depositing into the contracts because the secondary market had a discount compared to the peg. So you could just buy it on the secondary market, right? So right now there's a really nice balance between the secondary market and the deposit pool being on peg. So it just makes sense for people to come to the deposit pool. Also, there's not a premium or a discount, so it's not kind of skewing the metrics a little bit there. Liquidity is bang in the range where it's optimal liquidity, and Rocket Pool is just going from strength to strength every day, like right in front of our eyes. Like this, honestly, like these deposit numbers are like the best case. Well, hopefully we'll be doubling these and increasing them by multiples in the coming days and weeks. But this is really, really, really promising right now. And I'm just excited to see what like new DeFi tools like eMode are going to do to this, because I think that will definitely add multiples to these deposit numbers. I'm very excited. So I think Gui Pickle here as well is like really excited for what I'm saying. And he says, and this of course is not financial advice from me, I'm just saying what Gui Pickle he is sharing. He says largest ever month for Rocket Pool deposits by about 30,000 ETH, largest ever week for Rocket Pool by about 13,000 ETH. Both of these are 2x over the previous record, and the month and week isn't even over, and you're telling me you aren't bullish on RPL. So that take, I think, is really interesting. And I really want to like talk about this for a minute, right? Like, so we all know, those of us in the Rocket Pool community, is that just a few months ago, the ratio of RPL and ETH was way lower than it is now. Like, actually, let me bring up a chart because I think it's worth talking about this. Rocket Pool ETH. I already have it on the thing that I visit a lot. So right now the ratio here is 0.02476, right? And now if we have a look at the chart for the last like 1 year, we can see that like in just in November, we were a lot lower. We were 0.0122. So we were like half of where we are now, pretty much like we've doubled in that amount of time. Now, I think that this is something really interesting that we should be keeping an eye on, because I think there was a lot of accumulation that happened in this November, December, January period, especially in January period, to kind of people getting ready to stake their RPL. So this idea of, like there'll be new people will be buying RPL, and that will be being staked and stuff. And we'll see, this increase on the price ratio. There is an idea that a lot of those people kind of front run that moment, and this hype blow off that came in February, in the beginning of February, like, when we hit the all-time high on the ratio. Since then, it's kind of like gone down, and it's in a like a stability phase, like crabbing, or some kind of accumulation phase, like whatever you want to call it, right? Like whatever kind of TA language you use. But there is a chance that, you know, a lot of the demand that we're seeing on staking right now was people buying in this area like towards the end of last year, and that was a really, really good buying opportunity, I think, for a lot of people. If you bought in that period now, you know, you're up 2x on the ratio, which is amazing because not many tokens behave like that against ETH, of course. So I think that's something definitely to keep an eye on, compared to what Gui Pickle here is saying. However, one thing that like you can counter that, right, in support of Gui Pickle is like eventually those people who are staking now will kind of run out, and they'll have to buy more if they want to stake more, and that's when the price action might kick in, and that might happen like, you know, in 2 weeks from now, in 6 weeks from now, maybe 6 months from now, but at some point those people are going to be in position. Of course, the counter to that point then is that as the ratio increases, people who are over collateralized will become even more over collateralized, and they will be selling into ETH to spin up more validators, and I think that's a possibility as well. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is all of this is like, you know, Rocket Pool right now as a protocol is doing amazingly bullish things. However, we shouldn't really use that to make judgments about the RPL token in the short and medium terms. Of course, long term, you know, I'm incredibly bullish, and that's why I'm invested in Rocket Pool. But price can change up and down, like in the short and medium terms, and we shouldn't really like drink all the hopium, I think, right now. Like it might be sensible to just let the RPL token do what it does, and we as a community just focus on growing the protocol as much as possible, and really like making it available to as many people as possible as well. So that is what I wanted to say about that. I know I don't talk about price that often, but I really thought that this was an interesting perspective from Gui Pickle, and I wanted to share that on the show. Okay, next we had this link that Joe posted this morning, and I know that, you know, Joe's supposed to be on vacation, but he's still working, so I'm shaking my head at you, Joe, like really, really hard. But it's a GitHub to the Nimbus GitHub, and here it says constantly disconnects and reconnects from prison BN. So Joe here has a bug that he found in Nimbus or in Prism, one of the other, I guess, and he kind of like details the bug. He says, hey guys, I just upgraded to version 23.4.0 and have the following configuration: local Nimbus BN, local Nimbus VC, remote Prism BN. He says the VC is attached to both BNs, starting with 24.4.0. The VC constantly disconnects from the Prism BN and reconnects, producing the following logs. This is reproducible in both Goerli and mainnet. Running the VC with the debug logs on reveals the following error while sending REST headers apparently. So then there's some code that Joe's captured there. He said, I haven't tried other clients yet. I can confirm it works fine again if I switch the remote BN from Prism to Nimbus though. And he says to reproduce here. So there's an issue when you are using fallback clients with Nimbus, I guess, that aren't Nimbus maybe, but like this is just we haven't really delved into that, and of course there's been no announcement of any issues with Nimbus or anything like that, so I don't think it's too much to worry about, but it's just something to keep an eye on if you are using fallback client with Nimbus there. Okay, so Joe was in trading yesterday, and a couple of days ago, a few community members like SNG, Denum, I think Noshua, Ludi, they all separately observed what they thought was peculiar behavior in the way that collateral percentage was being calculated, specifically the point at which it was being updated. And they had a discussion about it in trading last night and this morning, and settled on the fact that it appeared on at least the command line interface and Grafana. So they were doing it differently than the TreeGen spec, which only looks at the mini pools active on the beacon chain. So SNG asked Joe about how it's supposed to work, and then Joe gave an explanation of it and how it was changed for Atlas. So let's have a look. So here SNG says, we had a small question for you when you're back from vacation. And Joe says, what do I do now? And then SNG says, a few people observed what appeared to be a change in collateral percentage after minipool goes into initialized, which doesn't seem like how it's supposed to work. And Joe says in the CLI, and S&G says, CLI, Grafana, Rocket Scan, and then he says that's supposed to happen thanks to Ken, and S&G says, oh, I knew this was going to be a misunderstanding of how it's supposed to work. And Joe says, I don't know about Rocket Scan, but the CLI and Grafana show the collateral based on your current level and pending bond reductions. And then Sneaky says, but now I want to know how it's supposed to work. And he says, why is that? Being that TreeGen only cares about mini pools that are activated on Beacon Chain. And Joe says, because basically before it didn't, so he fired off like 20 bond reductions, but couldn't complete any of them because his RPL was too low and they're timed out. So Sneaky says, oh, and then TreeGen cares because obviously it can't give you rewards for pending mini pools. And then Joe goes on to say, but from like a dashboard perspective, it shows you what your levels will be once you complete bond reduction, so you don't get kenned. And then Joe's S&G says, was this a change in Atlas? And he says, yeah. So it was basically just a change in the way that the numbers are explained and why that happens. So you are protected against getting issues of your collateral percentage changing when you change bond. Okay, so let's move on from that now. We've got this huge update from Joe about the Proteus. So this is the kind of work that I'm happy that Joe is doing while he's on vacation, because this is, for himself, and it's something that he really loves. I don't like that he's doing rocket pool work, but that's a whole different matter. But anyway, Joe, he says, all right, dude, it's massive update time. So as you may or may not know, based on your feedback so far, I've been working for the last few months on engineering a new board that sits on top of the GPIO pins, and it replaces the old 4-pin cable that I've had to make and exposes the debug console. So I got the prototype boards on Monday. I just soldered one on top and threw it onto a rock. So here's the board, and then he puts it on top of the Rock 5B board right here. I'm saying right here, but anyway, it says behold, and there's a screenshot of something and he says, I can now access the bootloader docs, and I can quote-unquote SSH directly via USB. No need for a separate monitor or keyboard or networking anymore. You can just plug in the micro USB and you get everything. So this is a really, really key improvement, because in the past, like, if you had any issues, you'd have to plug the Proteus into like a monitor, a keyboard, all that kind of stuff to get it all set up. But now you don't have to do any of that. You can just plug a mini USB it's directly into that board, and you can SSH, kind of like you can control the device through that, basically in the micro USB. And he says it's going to be huge for support and troubleshooting, and then he tags a bunch of people and everyone else, and then he says patches can see it tomorrow as well. So he says this is what the new setup looks like now inside the board, so you can see all the different things. And here at the back at the top, you can see that little cable, that's that part of it basically. So people are really happy with that already, and they think it looks really good. So that was a really nice update from Joe, and he says that I'll switch over to include a newer Proteus at some point. This is just a prototype, but I can make upgrade kits available if Wave 1 people want them. Sure. So it just makes it a lot easier to communicate with the Proteus. And then shred.eth says, can I just say this is effing sweet? It must feel so cool to build something real like this. I mean, software is cool, but I imagine this is the next level, a piece of circuit board you designed, tested and shipped to users. You're a scholar and a gentleman, Joe. And Joe says, it's terrifying when you plug it in for the first time and turn it on, and supremely awesome when it works. I'm going to put together an assembly order for them tonight, finishing a couple of old school units at the moment. And then yeah, it's really, really great stuff. So thank you, Joe, for all your hard work on making the Proteus an even better device with every iteration. And congratulations on getting this done like this. Okay, next we have this tweet from DappLooker, who said, exciting news. Check out the new Rocket Pool analytics dashboard built by DappLooker. Get insights about this ETH staking decentralized protocol now, and check it out here. But when you click on the link, it says no dashboard found. So I think it's still a work in progress. But here they've got some screenshots of what the dashboard will look like. So it has information about ETH staked and total number of mini pools, and total stakers and Oracle node operators, etc. It says staked ETH and number of stakers, and it's got all this information here. And then they've got another screenshot as well. He says Rocket Pool community can now get real-time stats at their fingertips, track metrics like staked ETH, total mini pools, total stakers, and Oracle node operators, get an insight into monthly ETH staking volume and staked ETH growth. So here they've got that information as well, is how much the staked ETH month by month. So that information is there as well. And then it says, we're committed to helping the Rocket Pool community. We've recently applied for the Rocket Pool grant with our new offering for monitoring health and performance. Check out the grant application. So then here's the grant application. Oh no, that's not the grant application. Give me a second. Oh, give me a second. I know what I'm looking for. There we go. So here's the grant application as well. So, they applied for a grant for analytics and monitoring of Rocket Pool health and performance. And all that information is there. Of course, I can't comment on the grant because I'm a member of the GMC. And this is, we're actively discussing all grants right now. And a decision will be out about grants on May 1st. But this is their grant application here of what they want to do with the product. But it's nice that people are sharing like ideas they have for dashboards and things like that. Yeah, that's cool. Finally, I want to finish with this about Coinbase. So as we talked about on Rocket Fuel, like about 6 weeks ago, I think, Coinbase got a Wells notice from the Securities and Exchanges Commission in the US, and they responded to that with this YouTube video, and people were just like really happy that they've done this. It got a lot of positive coverage on crypto Twitter and stuff like that. And then here's the video, like it's a 13-minute video that's a full response to their Wells notice. If you want to give that a watch, you can definitely check that out. And it seems like Coinbase are preparing for a fight. Like this week they started a lawsuit against the SEC for clarity of a particular rule, and now they're kind of like saying that they're going to fight to challenge that well notice. They want to go to court. So it seems like Coinbase are really stepping up their battle against the SEC, and a lot of people in crypto Twitter are really happy about this, and they think that Coinbase are good representatives. Of course others are less happy about that, but it's never the case that everyone's always happy. So yeah, this is definitely one to follow and keep an eye on and see how it develops over the next months and potentially years even, until we get some clarity. So I want to finish with this thing that I did a couple of weeks ago with Merker.eth, where I talked about his journey post Shanghai Capella and moving to Rocket Pool. Well, for today's episode, I've got another guest on who's talking about them moving from being a Genesis solo staker to being a Rocket Pool migrator now, and also a node operator from before as well. But we have Boodle on the show, who recently went through the migration process quite publicly on trading. So I'm going to attach a short interview that I did with Boodle at the end of this episode, and you can listen to Boodle talking about his journey from being a solo staker and Genesis solo staker at that, and moving to Rocket Pool, and why he did that. Yeah, I'm just going to say have a good weekend ahead of this, and I'll finish the episode with my conversation with Boodle here. Thank you. Hi, this is a special segment in today's Rocket Fuel episode where I'm talking to Boodle, who has migrated his solo stake to Rocket Pool. And I've done this before, talking to Merker.eth, and hopefully there'll be a few more solo staker migration journeys coming up in the weeks ahead. But I wanted to give a chance for Boodle to kind of explain who he is, how his journey was, and like why he's taken this journey. So welcome, Boodle, to Rocket Fuel. Tell me about your solo staking and what's been happening with that.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. I think this is a really fun idea. So I'll give a little bit of background on myself and kind of how I got into solo staking. I'm a graduate student. I study earth science, which is totally random, not connected to any of this at all. But during the kind of depths of COVID, everything was going crazy and everyone's lives were changing. And for some reason, that drew me to Ethereum staking. And I kind of started following the eStaker Reddit, started watching Superfizz, watched some videos of Vitalik describing the proof of stake transition, and it got me really excited because I kind of have a climate spin on my research. So I was interested in kind of the energy reduction that proof of stake would bring. So I got interested in it, and I kind of like fiddling with these tech things. So I started running on testnet summer 2020. And as a grad student, I have pretty much no money, but I really was excited to participate if I could. So I started kind of scrounging funds together. And actually, at the time, I was looking for ways that I could participate without putting down 32 ETH. And I did find out about Rocket Pool early, and this was ages ago in the Rocket Pool timeline. It was things were way different. So if I could have from the beginning, I actually would have run Rocket Pool mini pools from day one. But that was not an option, as we found out later. They weren't quite ready when the Genesis happened. So I still did want to be a part of Genesis. So I was able to come up with 32 ETH and spin up a solo validator. And then I still kind of followed with Rocket Pool. I became a member of the Rocket Pool Discord community. And that even as a solo staker before Rocket Pool had launched, even then, Rocket Pool was really helpful to me in kind of building an identity and working through tech things. I mean, there's so much help within the Discord server. But then when Rocket Pool launched the next year, I did spin up a mini pool with Rocket Pool. So I was kind of running both in parallel. And then it was always my plan to eventually, when I could, just because the incentives are such that it's more advantageous to run with Rocket Pool. So it was always my plan to move over to Rocket Pool. I didn't really want to let go of my Genesis validator. So I was, I don't know, I was conflicted a bit about that. But when I found out that there was a way to migrate without letting go of your ID, I was excited about that. So now that Chappelle went through, I went through the transition, and I still have my solo ID on my Genesis validator. So I'm happy about that.
That's so exciting. So tell me a little bit about the process. Like, I know people have always said, like, Joe's docs are amazing, the Rocket Pool docs are amazing. How are the solo staker docs, for solo staker migration docs, basically?
Actually, yeah, all of it is amazing. So it's a little bit complicated, as you might imagine, to run solo stake aside, like side by side with your Rocket Pool node, but Joe makes that really pretty clean and easy, relatively speaking. Just kind of running in native mode and then adding another validator for your solo stake. And so the docs were really helpful for me to do that. And then the transition was made really easy too. The one thing that was very stressful was managing the BLS key. So that was the original key that when you deposited as a solo staker, you got this key and it's just a seed phrase. And obviously I buried that away deep in a place where no one would ever find it. But I had to pull that out, and I wanted to do it on an air gapped machine. So something that hasn't been connected to the internet. So had to figure that out. And I don't know, I just get stressed about like swapping some digit or something, and then the withdrawal key gets put to the wrong address. And so it was stressful in general, but in terms of knowing what I had to do, the docs definitely walked me through it step by step.
That's amazing. And tell me a little bit about your reasoning. You kind of hinted it a little bit, but like, what are the reasons for why you've undergone this migration?
Yeah, there's a few reasons. One, it's just like pure economics, that it's better for me personally to run Rocket Pool mini pools. I believe in the RPL token, so I have a lot of RPL staked, and I want those to be effective. So having more mini pools lets me have more effective RPL. That's one reason. More node commission, I can make more ETH that way. But then one of my main reasons too is kind of unlocking more RETH for the community. So I kind of see it as a part of my responsibility to not just stake for myself, but to open it up for liquid stakers too. So as a solo staker, you're kind of doing it all for yourself. Whereas for Rocket Pool, there's two sides of the equation, and every node operator opens up a lot more room and now it's triple. So if you are a node operator and you put down 8 ETH, then you open up 24 for the community. So that's huge.
It's really huge. I think those are all great reasons for why a person should become a Rocket Pool node operator from a solo staker or just from scratch. And of course, then there's the other thing as well, is that, you know, you're helping decentralize Ethereum, right? Like, you know that you have a machine running. Sorry, I shouldn't assume. Are you staking from home? Like, do you have?
Yeah, it's right behind me, and it's
Yeah.
mad right now. Kids, the fan is going real loud.
Oh yeah, wonderful. So yeah, like, you know that, you know, you're staking from home, and you have just as much control over your stake from home using Rocket Pool as you did as a solo staker, right? So before, when you had 32 ETH staking on the mainnet, now you have 4 validators worth of ETH instead, like 128. So you're 4 times more decentralized in a sense. So this is the kind of argument I've been making, is like, you know, a Rocket Pool wins, Ethereum wins, and you as a node operator wins. It's win-win-win. It's it's really cool, like that. You saw that, you made that journey. So thank you so much, Boodle, for taking a few minutes to kind of explain that. And I hope other people, if they have any questions, I'm sure you don't mind them reaching out to you for you to answer them, right?
Yeah, I'm not the most responsive on Discord, but I will eventually respond.
Right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for explaining your journey.
Thank you.